distance between my truth and my story. The story I am always trying to live. Waves rush upwards, slamming my body back into the chair I'm sitting in. Waves of the desire to tell the tale without the guise of myth, to share the events, the ideas, hear the birds chirping and singing. Outside, I hear the traffic hurrying by on the street below, outside the window. The television is on. Television is on, of course. On, of course. Of course, the complexity of this soundtrack. Complexity of this soundtrack is mixed in with the conversations random thoughts, ideas, doubts, fears in the music, music that is always playing in my mind, except on those rare occasions on stage when I experience flow, absolute attention, hypnotized by the act of sharing a silent truth. But those moments as rich and full as they are rare and never come soon enough.
Stand by one.
I'm sitting here, cigarette burning away, trying to figure out what event to share first. What is my first memory? Or perhaps, should I start with my stats, my facts, such as they are?
Chapter 1, Less Than Empty.
It started with my father. My biological father, Randolph Mario Hart. It started with him running through a swimming pool on a military base in Springfield, Missouri in the rain. Randy, a beautiful man, with rich brown skin covering a remarkably well-developed body, sending 5'7", running through the rain and crying out, "Letty, I love you! I love you, Letty, please!" And Letty, coming out on her balcony, seeing Randy in the rain crying, realizing she loved him too, and she would always love him. I would never let him go.
One paragraph.
I'm 25, and tears are streaming down Letty's cheeks as she tells me this story. We've just met. We're sitting in a tiny apartment in the East Village, New York City. The rain is coming down, gently rolling down the windows. The morning sunlight streaks the walls as it slides in. The air is still. The street outside is quiet. I am silent, and I cannot move. Suddenly, the breath leaves my lungs. I'm suddenly aware of an emptiness that has always been there. I'm surprised. I didn't know I was breathing. Tears start falling from my eyes, heavy and exhausted. These tears have been waiting to fall, collecting the scars of my life for this long-awaited and dreadful moment. These tears feel different than any I have ever known before. They sting my cheeks. They sweetly release pain from underneath my skin. I take a breath in, and I feel less empty.
Chapter 2, The Mirror and the Report.
I'm 38 years old. It's late at night in the dead of winter, and a huge blizzard is descending on Nebraska. I'm to have my biopsy in the morning. Carol's coming with me, as is my stepfather, Don. They've decided that we need to leave the night before to avoid the downfall of snow expected overnight. I want to wait and brave the trip till tomorrow morning. I want one more night in the comfort of my apartment. With my dog, Molasses, my faithful Cocker Spaniel, gathering my psychological, spiritual strength. I don't actually know if the plum-sized lump on the left side of my neck is cancer or not. number of things. But as I look at it in the mirror, as I wait for my ride to shuttle me off to the hospital on this windy, cold, frighteningly dark night, all I can see is the autopsy report of my biological father, which I finally got to see when I was 25 and the papers were mailed to me.
The one small paragraph.
I'd love to share the whole autopsy report with you now, but through rough times, some of the things that are amongst the most important to us are lost. I can tell you what I remember. It's etched in my mind, swirling prominently in the chorus, in the cacophony that plays throughout my waking and dreaming hours.
With the grace of course, and every time I let go, and I slide in water, and I will geyser. Bury me in fire, and I'm gonna phoenix. I'm gonna phoenix.
Key 16. Go.
Randolph Mario Hart was 28 years old. He was an Army sergeant, first class. He had 13 medals and accommodations, including the Purple Heart, Master Airman Badge, Master Parachutist Badge, Vietnam Accommodation Medal, Combat Infantryman Badge, Master Combat Badge, 3 gold stars. The nature of his discharge was honorable due to permanent disability. The nature of his disability was that he was deceased. His height was 5'7". His weight was 140 pounds. His liver was firm and unresponsive. His right kidney was absent, and there was widespread cancerous tumors throughout his body. The words go on and on, each one of them steeped in the official language of a military document. Long words and abbreviations that confuse me and settle heavy in my mind. My father was a hero. He was a helicopter pilot and a mechanic. He flew 3 volunteer flights over the front line during the Vietnam conflict to rescue injured soldiers. He was a manager of the Barrett Bar, and according to Letty, was in a racially motivated fight one night, which as a black belt in karate, I imagine he was winning. And the other soldier, in a fit of rage, picked up a 2x4 and swinging it like a bat, hit Randolph in the lower back on the right side. Randy was a remarkably tough man with a very high pain threshold. A few days after the fight, he went into the medic with some pains and some cramps, but aside from the bruising, they could find nothing wrong with him. A few days later, the pain and the cramps were getting worse. They prescribed him some morphine and sent him on his way. Sometime later, he was still having pains and cramps. And it was decided that he should undergo some more thorough testing. What they found out surprised everyone, and certainly devastated all those who were a part of his life. They found that his right kidney had been ruptured in the bar fight, and that his entire body was infested with cancerous tumors. He was given 3 months to live. Letty was there by his side. She had just found out she was pregnant 3 months earlier. She was so excited. Randy was divorcing his first wife, who had just given birth to a baby boy and named him Randy after his father. But Letty was there by his side, crying tears she could not tame, wild and crazy with anger and disbelief. Not legally wed, with no provisions or benefits to speak of, it was decided that she would be left behind when they took him to the military hospital in Los Angeles.
Chapter 3, Letty and the Vow.
Letty's family life was less than could be hoped for. She was one of many siblings. There was an older sister, Betty, several brothers, one of whom was a mongoloid according to the antique records that accompanied the autopsy report, was a grandfather who was a gin runner and a long line of abusive alcoholics and various other miscreants. Letty was living with Betty and her racist, abusive drunk of a husband on the military base. She was the youngest because her parents were unwilling or unable to raise her. Betty's husband told Letty that she was not welcome in the house as long as she was dating a black man. Letty wanted desperately to get out, to be free of the tyranny of her situation. She was heavy with child, and for all practical purposes alone. She was so alone. Betty loaned her some money to get away, to follow Randy, to her true purpose, to her true calling, to her love. She wanted nothing more to be Randy during his time of need, and Randy wanted nothing more than for her to be there by his side. She only made it to Lincoln, Nebraska before the money ran out. On a dirty public payphone, Letty called Betty desperate. Betty was unable to wire the needed money. Letty was stuck, trapped by her circumstances. She had nowhere to turn. She had no job to speak of. She was 24 and carrying a biracial child in a small, unfamiliar town. And then, 3 months before she was to give birth to me, she learned that Randy had died, quietly and alone, and missing his love. Letty's world closed in around her. Letty realized that she could not raise the child that rested calmly and peacefully in her womb. She contacted Family Services Association. Her water broke. She gave birth on May 11th, 1971. It was an easy labor. She never looked at the child. She never held the child. She knew that if she did, she would never let the child go. She knew she had to let the child go. She had heard that there was a family ready to adopt the child. She had no one to help her adopt the child, no friends, no family, no skills to speak of to pay the great cost of raising this child. She was Caucasian. The child was brown. There could be nothing harder than trying to raise this token of a lost dream. She gave the child to Family Services Association and thought she'd be able to forget the pain of her loss, of her two great losses. Her pain of a loss times 2 was more than she could bear. She signed the papers. It was over. Her journey with Randy and their child had come to an end, she thought. She thought. But she had vowed to love Randy forever, to love him and never let him go. She would never be able to break that vow. Never.
No.
Chapter 4, The Voyage and the Ghost.
20? Yeah.
Don't really have the temperament.
is December 26th, 1999. Heather, my longtime partner in crime, and I have just arrived in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. I am 28 years old. We've made this trip so that I can meet, finally, my biological grandfather, Aubrey. So that I can reconnect with my ancestry. No. So that I can connect with my ancestry. It's a return to a place I've never been before. As I step off of the plane onto the stairs towards the tarmac below, I'm instantly taken aback by how perfectly right it all is. The air warmed to the perfect temperature by the sun shining in the high crystal blue sky seeming a mile away. The salty air off of the ocean, the humidity. I exhale. Feet touch down. I'm holding on to the hope that I may come to learn about my father the man, not the myth that he has become. He is a myth of my own making, of my personal creation myth. I want to know of a life lived, not a life learned from a few documents and stories. I'm scared of what I might find, terrified that I'll disappoint those that knew Randy, the man, not the great tragic hero. I'm horrified that I will disappoint those who knew him. As I make my way across the tarmac to the waiting area to meet finally the father of my father, the waves come over me. I wonder, what did you expect making an arrival such as this? The waves rise electric from my gut to my temples. Tears fill my eyes. The sky is so blue, so clear. As I enter the building, I realize I have no idea what Aubrey looks like, nor does he have any notion what I look like. Suddenly, the fear of him not recognizing me, or worse yet, deciding not to come, freezes my knees, making it difficult to walk. Take a breath in, and look around for any sign of the patriarch of my true ancestry. Slowly, deliberately, a very slight man begins to approach. He is neither frowning nor smiling. He is resolute in his small, quick steps. He approaches me, and with one word draws me in. Daniel? My sense of self is obliterated by the sight of my ancestors' weary smile, his soft voice, his face weathered by the island sun. I feel the air warm and soft on my skin, feeling my heart. I wonder, would my skin become as weathered as my ancestors if I were to stay? If I were never to leave? We shake hands awkwardly, and then we embrace, sighing a deep sigh of acknowledgement in tandem. Yes, hello. I am Daniel. The car ride back to the family home is silent. Thought I'd have so much to say, so many questions to ask. I'm embarrassed, small, unknown, and undefined. What did I expect making a return to a place I'd never been before? What was I hoping to become? Did I want to become something more, something different, something new, something more than I was? Or perhaps, did I want to become what I was supposed to be? I wondered, would there be a ghost to lead my way home?
chapter 5. The day has come. Dream of a land my soul comes from. I hear a hand stroke on the drum. Shades of delight, cocoa, rich as the night, afro blue, elegant boy, beautiful girl, dancing for joy, delighted world, shades of delight, cocoa hue, rich as the night, afro blue. Two young lovers are face to face with undulating grace. They simply sway and slip away with some secluded place. Shade of daylight, cocoa hue, rich as the night, afro blue.
Cute. Drawing.
Heather is down on the beach, down the street from the simple house that Aubrey calls home. I'm sitting with him on the porch. We're talking about the man that has brought us together. He's so proud of his son. He shows me many pictures of Randy's time in the military.
No. If you want to, I can do a few for you.
Randy,
Of course, the animation.
kingly man,
What about
graceful, sleek,
the patron?
compact, and yet with ample expression that I feel that I'm getting to know him with each picture that passes through my hands. I hold each one gently as if I were holding a dying man's hand. I'm told that these pictures are mine, that I should have something to remember Randy by. I'm speechless. I'm hearing the inside story of Randy's death. I'm told that Randy wanted it to be perfectly clear that if I were ever to reach out, that I was to be treated like the son of his that I was. It's December 27th. We're making arrangements to go see the gravesite of my 28-year-old father who died on the 28th of December, 28 years to the day after he died. I am 28. The day has come. I will see my 28-year-old father's gravesite 28 years after the day he died, the place where he was buried. As Heather and I exit the car and cross the street, there's something that surrounds the group of us. Some strange silence, of reverence, an eerie feeling of the coincidence of it all. As I enter the graveyard, I'm taken aback by all the sarcophaguses rising up above the earth, unlike all of the burial plots resting comfortably underneath the lush green earth in Nebraska. Aubrey's leading me down the long, narrow pathway lettered by the salty air, the Caribbean rains, and the hot, hot sun. There's mysterious kind of fauna growing out of the cracks. We've arrived. I'm still home. laughter and emotion I've never had before. 1999, the dawning of a new millennium. I'm standing at the gravesite of my father. I'm the same age that he was when he died. I ask myself, what did you expect? I'm left cold and silent. There were no grand trumpets blaring. There was no clear path to my inherited self. I am small, undefined as ever. It is over.
Stand by, 327.
I've resolved myself to enjoy the location, the weather, the company of a man who happens to share my bloodline. Heather suggests that I get out and I enjoy the sand and surf. I reluctantly agree.
Go.
Chapter 6. Swimming Through the Earth.
Heather and I have arrived at the resort beach on the opposite side of the island my father called home. The rocky inlet that the house overlooked, where Heather did yoga with the native iguanas, is 1,000,000 miles away. I'm still quivering from the lack of a revelatory moment, a cathartic moment that was my birthright. I step into the water, crystal clear and warmed to the perfect temperature. My eyes are fixed on the horizon, which stretches 300, it stretches so far away. The sand is thick between my toes as my ankles slip into the ocean.
Okay, skip ahead. Light 228, go.
There was no ghost to lead my way home. There was no myth that revealed itself as truth. The myth that I had created. You're foolish. Feel as if I had failed. Water's bobbing up around my chin.
29, go.
I don't know how I've made it so far out into the water. I wonder if I want to go back to the shore. I turn and I see all of the people laughing and playing on the beach without a care in the world. I'm alone in the ocean that sinks to a deep blue beneath me. I'm still quivering in my heart and soul. The undertow tries to pull me out further into the abyss. Suddenly, my feet sink into the sand. My torso leans forward. I wonder if it would not be so hard to get swept away by the water that engulfs me. I slowly start to walk out of the water. I see my father's sarcophagus rising from the earth. The earth below my feet sinks further out into the deep, dark loneliness. I see the people on the beach uninhibited by their history. My heart is full, pulling me closer to the moment I'm meant to be living in, the present moment.
Oh, yeah, you can skip a lot.
I'm crawling out of the water. It's the strength of Randy's myth that allows me to swim back to shore against this earth that tries to suck me down. A smile erupts on my face. Tears come to my eyes. I have outlived my father. Yet he will always live. Except now I can let him rest in peace. I have no more expectations of this beautiful, heroic specter. I know he will never leave me. I am not alone.
1931.
And so that is how I began. That's how I've chosen to begin. At least this most recent telling of my
Go.
tale.
Sleep tonight. I'm in your dreams.
You are the new day. You are the new day. I will love you more than me and more than yesterday. If you cannot prove to me you are the new day, send the sun in time for dawn. Let the birds all hail the morning. Love of life will urge me say, you are the new day. When I lay me down at night, knowing we must pay, for darker than this night might stay yesterday. For stand we as humans small, could slow words and end in all, lie around me where they fall, before the new day, before the new day. One more day when time is running out for everyone. Like a breath I knew would come, I reach for a new day. Hope is my philosophy, just these days in which to be. Love of life means hope for me, born on a new day. You are the new day.
When do I start? I mean, at what point do I start writing about the experience of living my life? I can summon the ghosts and demons that inhabit my life, the specters that populate my days, my nights, the life I have created for myself, the life that was allowed me. But to what effect? I am much more comfortable speaking about my life through metaphor, working through myth. It is the comfortable distance between my truth and my story, the story I am always telling. If I tell the tale just as it happened, what will the real characters of my life think? What will those friends and family, near and far, think? I'm sitting on a chilly spring morning. It's 11:10 a.m. I'm drinking a beer. Dustin's just left for work. We had some time this morning that was not planned for. He had a beer too. Traffic on the street is light and I do not hear any birds. I'm waiting to leave to drive to Village Point Cancer Center in Omaha, Nebraska for my 6-month checkup. Days like this, waiting to go and find out if the cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, has reared its ugly fucking face again, brings up every single emotion I felt on December 23rd. the day I first went in for my biopsy in 2009. There are so many things I regret. There are so many good memories of times that have had tremendous consequences. There is anger, there is self-hatred, there is the unfairness of it all. But above, below, and woven through all of this is paralyzing fear. So now I'm drinking a beer, feeling all of these sensations at once, engulfed in the symphony sung by my internal chorus.
Chapter 7, The Dream.
From a very young age, for as long as I can remember until my 37th birthday, I had a reoccurring dream. In the dream, I'm 36 years old and am kneeling on a nearly barren piece of land in the sandhills of Nebraska, looking at a graceful, elegant sandstone formation. There is a small, twiggy bush with a few fresh green leaves on the tips of spindly branches. Behind me, there is a man. There is a gun pointed at my head, ready to kill me execution style. The man holding the gun is Caucasian, wearing black leather gloves and a black shirt, but that's all I know of him. The image has no movement other than the hot wind blowing wispy white clouds through the bright blue sky as they meander above. It is midday. Suddenly there is a flash of movement, and the dream begins to play out its scenario. I wake up just as the gun is fired. I've always wanted to visit the sandhills. Maybe I want to confront my mortality. Cancer's allowed me to do that in a way much more visceral than any dream could ever reveal. I still long to see the sandhills.
Chapter 8, The Monolith and the First Document.
From the time I was about 5 years old, I've known that I was adopted. The morning I found out is very clearly etched in my mind. It may be one of my first memories, or it may merely be one of the many myths created to comfort myself when thinking of the time I began to become myself. The time my uniqueness was exposed to me. The time I looked in the mirror and knew I was different. It was a moody mid-morning, Sunday we'll say. It could have been any other day of the week. It was like every other day, filled with dizzying whirlwinds of activity, exploring, running, challenging life to reveal itself. Sundays were filled with so much reverence, so much weight, as though everything that happens is steeped in detail, rivaled only by the cosmic beginning. So much mystery and wonder. Sundays can bring out the faith in us all, even the skeptic. I'm standing, shifting side to side, bouncing up and down a bit in front of an enormous piece of furniture made of unimaginably dark, ancient wood that rises from the floor to the ceiling. Occasionally, I catch my reflection in the mirror that rises above a slab of oxblood and white marble, swirling, floating above a series of drawers sagging with history. The wood is almost black, and the finish is waxy. The thick coats of countless years of polish make it seem unmovable, as though the generations of care heaped upon this monolith connected it to the earth itself, as though it had always been there, and that it always would. I hear the words my mother and father, Carol and Wayne Kubert, are saying to me only as mumbles and hushed whispers in a hazy light. I remember what I believed they said. I remember the evidence they provided. I remember the sensation I felt as my mother said, "This is all the information we have about your biological parents. No matter what, I want you to know that your father and I love you. We wanted you. We knew the moment we saw you, you would be ours forever." The piece of paper that accompanies these reassuring words is handed to me. It is a simple white trifold office document that carries the age of being hidden in a baby book that I did not know existed. The information is sparsely spread over the page, which consists of 2 paragraphs at the top and 2 columns taking up the smaller portion towards the bottom of the page. The paragraphs roll around until I see that it says that the adoption was closed, the mother and father were not married, the father was deceased, the mother was living, I was born in Lincoln, Nebraska. I tumble down the page, and the columns below spell out more clearly the details of the individuals who conceived me. From the left column, I learned that the mother was Caucasian and of German-Irish descent. She was 24, she was 5'8", she had blonde hair, blue eyes. She had no advanced education other than cosmetology school. In the left column, it is revealed that the father was 5'7". He was African American and from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. He was in the Army. He was a black belt in karate. He spoke 5 languages: English, Spanish, Vietnamese, German, and French. He had degrees in philosophy and economics. He died on December 28, 1970. He was 28 years old. This His last words swirl around in my head as I string them together for you here and now, just as they did when I looked at the simple white page ages ago. The myth is so complete in my heart and so elusive in my mind. Are these memories real? Am I talking truth or fiction? What do I remember and what have I created? Below all of this, the question persists, what does it matter? I felt the ground break loose and crumble beneath my feet. I felt the suspension of my breath and the free fall of my exhale. There was nothing. No words, no caresses of my cheek, nothing that could stall this descent. Down, down I fall, the air whistling in my ears, tears falling up as I tumble down.
Chapter 9. The Tutu and Paju.
It is May 13th, 1971. I am 2 days old, and I have just been adopted by Wayne and Carol. They have collected their 3 other children and rushed to pick me up. Susie, second in line, has just been picked up from rehearsal for her dance recital. She is 6 years old. She is wearing a black and orange tutu. Its orange tulle is a soft nest for me to rest in. Its black bodice is sequined and twinkles like stars in the night sky, in orange and black waves above my head, which is barely peeking out of the swaddling I am wrapped in. They are wondering what they should name me. Susie says, we already have a Tommy, and a Debbie, and a Susie. We should name him Danny. Everyone agrees. I am reborn. I will be called Daniel Russell Kubert. I have landed somewhere, if only briefly. We are a family of 6. I have several nicknames. The one used most, at least by the 6 from the original family, is Paju. It started with my father, Wayne. Wayne is a truly wonderful, jovial, and generous man who shows extraordinary support. Some of the 6 feel that I am spoiled, that I lack initiative, that I manipulate my father and take advantage of his generosity. I feel his love, support, and generosity, the best of what I get from the 5. His embrace, as strong as it is and firm as it is not enough to slow my fall. It is a rocky childhood, with lots of roughhousing and emotional turmoil. There are many tears, many spankings, many slaps, and many truly mean words and bullying. I am told I am loved unconditionally. I believe my father means it. I'm not an easy child to raise. I'm hyperactive, and loud, uninhibited, and sneaky. I'm lonely. None of the 5 others want to spend time with me. I am curious about what everybody is doing to make their lives seem so happy. I am not happy. I'm terribly sad. I watch the world swirl around me at frantic speed. I try to keep up. I try to fit into the ever-changing landscape. I fail over and over again. I fail and I am falling towards the earth, flailing. The earth is approaching at a blinding speed. And I see from this horizon to horizon, 360 degrees. How am I to make sense of it all as I fall with this great velocity?
flow forward and backward.
There are so many memories to share. Too many. How do I sum up the events of a life lived? The childhood I remember is prevalent in everything I do, and yet is a million miles away, below, and I'm falling. Just tracks in the cacophonous symphony that are always playing in my head. Blurry snapshots and scenarios I try to hold on to. The actions I make today are inextricably tied to those memories, so subtly linked to try to unravel their connection is ridiculous. They are fragments in the mirror that I see in my head as I try to meditate. They play themselves out in vignettes. They are soundscapes and colors. They are weather constantly changing in my soft center as I try to be present, honest, and generous. How can I possibly hold any one of them long enough to describe the impossibly great significance they hold? I can share only the memories and the sensations that these memories reveal. That will have to be enough. I fear again that I shall fall short. Maybe the approach to take is not to share the events, but rather their impressions, blurry as they may be. Go! I am holding on to the iron railing on the side of our front porch. I'm screaming for dear life. I do not want to go with my father for the weekend. My reasons are rooted deep in a calamity of feelings. They are many, they are indisputable, they are buried so deep that they cannot be identified. Go! I'm being spanked by my mother. She is furious. I have really done it this time. I'm confused. I don't understand what I have done. I'm sorry I've upset the balance of the family of 6. I have really done it this time. Go! I'm standing in the door to the living room. My big sister is playing a huge piano made of ageless wood that is dark and waxy. The sounds ring in my ears. They tell a tale of a time gone by, a time of opportunity. The keys sing the songs of the monolith that I stood before a few years earlier and learned of my new beginning. Debbie is playing the piano. Light twinkles off of her long, straight, golden hair draped over her shoulders. Go! Susie has just taken me to see the movie Grease. She has the soundtrack. I am dancing in front of the monolithic mirror with a towel wrapped around my head. I am lip-syncing my favorite song, Beauty School Dropout. Go! My big brother and I are wrestling. I'm screaming as loud as I can for him to please get off. He is hurting me. I'm scared. There is a giant glob of spit slowly slipping out of his mouth and falling slowly towards my face. I realize my legs are free and I draw my right knee up to my stomach. I extend my foot into his crotch with as much force as I can muster in my frightened state. He is crying out in pain. His fists are pummeling me as he is screaming at me, "You have cheated!" Go! I am 7 years old. I have worked out a drag routine to Barry Manilow's seminal song, Copacabana. I am performing in my black and orange tutu at a neighborhood talent show at the park near our house. The kids and adults are silent as I finish my performing debut. I quietly, calmly pick up the record player and resolutely walk home. I know my performance was great. They just didn't get it. I am living my natural instinct. I have experienced flow for the first time.
Chapter 11, Viv, Danny, and the Bowl.
I was told that I was wanted, that I would be loved forever. And yet I felt the earth crumble from underneath my feet. There are vows that people make. There are destinies that are played out. There is fate. Then there is reality. The seemingly mundane day-to-day events that unfold and reveal themselves. These events, whether spawned from the psyche of a stranger, or perhaps someone close to you, or a pothole, or a sublet that's malfunctioning, are simply random events. They care not for vows taken. They exist so far out of our control that it is silly to imagine that there is any order to them at all. This is something everybody comes to terms with. They understand it on one level or another. Faith, science, coincidence, karma, dumb luck. These are just a few of the ways people come to terms with the disjunctive nature of the random events that present themselves day after day. But what if we look from a different perspective? Look at a bigger picture. Will we see some sort of a pattern? Some pattern recognition?
If ever I leave you, it wouldn't be in summer. See you in summer. I never would grow. Your eyes streaked with sunlight. Your lips red as flame. Your face was a luster that was gold to scale. But if I had to leave you, how would it be in autumn? How I leave in autumn, I never would know. I see now you sparkle when fall hits the air. I know you in autumn, and I must be there. And could I leave you running merrily through the snow, or on a wintry evening when you catch the fire's glow? If ever I would leave you, how would it be in springtime, knowing how it's spring in which wine
to lights hanging below a warm summer sky. I am 13 and I am, for once, sitting still. I'm enthralled. The spectacle of the musical event Camelot performed at Pinewood Bowl is magic, beautiful, enchanting through and through. The summer musicals in this fantastic amphitheater are historic, going back for many decades. Huge casts fill the stage and inhabit soaring, elaborate sets. Our family comes to these shows annually, usually to see Carol's mother, Vivian Trott, perform. Tonight, the role of Morgan Le Fay is being played by my grandmother, Vivian. She is stunning. As she floats onto the stage from the woods at the back of the theater, the breeze blows her flowing robes of blue, lavender, green, Time is suspended. The whole event playing itself out in slow motion. Her gigantic eyes lined to match her gown. The red hair set in big curls with gold embroidery holding flowing white and silver veils that embrace her face. Her hair matches the red gloss she wears on her lips, which smile grandly. She begins to speak, and the spell is cast. I know what I am supposed to do with my life, what it is that I must dedicate my life to. I must cast the spell, pass on this lineage of storytelling in the most visceral way possible. I understand the rocky path that has led me to this seat in this theater on this Sunday evening in 1984. A pattern reveals itself. I understand the power of a passion that brings joy and light to people's lives. Again, my feet find the earth, and I hurl myself off of this plateau and continue my fall. Sunday morning years ago, holding a trifold document in front of a monolith dedicated to lineage, I've been thinking about the events that randomly unfold and create my history. I think of them, wrestle with them, and obsess over them. I see myself shattered by these events, my reflection in the mirror fractured by wonder and a need to know what my true nature is. Even now, at my age, settled as I am in my ways, I cannot help but sit and wonder at the possible implications of the history I have the ominous privilege to claim as my own. Fortunately, at my age, I can say, thank God, this history is mine. No one else can claim it or bear the burden of it. It is mine, alone to live, judge, and love. It is a solitary perspective. It leaves little room for others in its core. I'm used to being alone, to feeling alone. My biggest fears are being alone and the dark. I will always hate both in the soft center of my body, the part I curled around as I drift off to sleep. I'm standing in front of the monolith. I'm 6 years old and I have just found out that Wayne and Carol are divorcing. I live with Carol and my siblings and only see Wayne on the weekends. I am a child. My brothers and sisters are babysitting me. They tell me that the black and orange tutu that I love so indescribably is in the basement somewhere. I am 8 years old and have claimed this tutu as my birthright. I was cradled in it as I was named. It is as much a part of who I am as anything. I am running down the stairs to the basement of our humble home in search of the object of my love that the five relish hiding from me. I'm a whirlwind, a hurricane of emotions. And I'm at the bottom of the stairs, crying out for hints as to where the tutu is hidden. And suddenly, the lights snap out. There is only blackness, an oppressive blackness. A void surrounds me. There is no ground, there is no direction. I suck in my breath, hoping to slow my fall through this void, my belly full of fear. I hear the door at the top of the stairs slam shut and lock. I'm totally alone, surrounded by the darkness. Tears bombard my eyes, painful, confused, surprised, flabbergasted. They've done this so many times before. This is not the first, nor will it be the last time this particular loneliness will crush me. I've always believed that the random events that led up to that Sunday and that trifold document alluded to a path that I was meant to lead, a path of some greatness. Greatness like Randy's, a passion and love like Letty's. I look at the events that led to Letty and Randy's meeting, to their love, to Randy's death. I look at the circumstances of Letty running out of money in Lincoln, Nebraska at the very time Wayne and Carol, a Caucasian couple, were looking to adopt a child with no preference of race. Vivian rising from the ground onto the stage. And I am left with the belief that there must be some order to the convergence of these events. There must be some direction to my fall. I believe I see some sort of a pattern that leads to a purpose that is more important than I could possibly imagine. Some calling. I see a pattern of greatness, despair, absolute love, and dedication. I see a pattern of sacrifice. This is the pattern that I try to live up to. I was born, I was given up, and I was given a second beginning. This is the prevailing pattern I see. Birth, abandonment, rebirth. I've been given more second chances than I can count. So now, as I put these words together, I arrive at another beginning.
I hear him before I go to sleep and focus on the day that's been. I realize he's there when I turn the
I'm sitting on a couch in the new home Dustin and I have just moved into. We've been married nearly 5 years and have accomplished so many of our dreams. The street outside is quiet. It is always quiet. It helps me to single out the sounds that make up my inner sound score. Trains pass by and it reminds me of my time in New York City. They make me smile. I'm terribly sick with the cold-flu combination that reminds me that I must not exploit my body, which I've done plenty of over the years. Dustin is also sick. We are together making each other well. Carol has brought us wine, bread, cheese, and homemade chicken noodle soup. As each spoonful slides down my throat, I feel the unconditional love she has always had for me. I have fallen from the sky with great velocity, and yet I have landed on my feet. I have made peace with my fear of the dark. Without it, I would never enjoy a sunrise. My fear of being alone is my fear of not being heard. My relationship with the younger 3 from the original 5 others, Debbie, Susie, and Tommy, have all been transformed. They have come to be exposed as enduring love and support. The stories of my childhood pain are the scars that make up the contours of my face and map my soul. My battle with cancer has allowed me to let more love and light into my heart and soften my mind. It has brought me closer to Randy and is a badge of my tenacity, a strength he and I both share. Letty was not able to bear the undertow of the earth that she was trying to swim through, disappeared from my life again. She has receded with time until she is nothing more than a dry riverbed. I have no more tears to cry for her. She has become a mere myth. I have become light and buoyant. I've just finished performing the role of my dreams. I walk off stage into the green room, and there before me are the 5 original members of the family that took me in and tormented me and made me stronger. They are so proud. I know I have not failed. I fall from the sky with great velocity, yes, and yet I have always been held. Held by my myths, held by Dustin, held by my mother's chicken noodle soup and my convalescence, held by my father's generosity. I have always been held. I've been holding myself, too. Myself and others. I see a pattern. As people swim through their own patches of earth, they sometimes need a hand to let them know that the shore is nearer to them than they can possibly imagine. I know when people fall from the sky, they need reminding that the ground is before them and their feet can touch down first. As I swim through my earth and fall from my sky, I see the pattern itself. We are all swimming and falling together. Just look around and observe the shore before you. Look around and see the earth before you. The pattern I see brings great comfort. I am not alone in the dark. I am with you all as we unravel our personal myths and live our truest lives. The stories I share are mine and mine alone, as yours belong solely to you. But the stories are all the same. They are stories of birth, lives lived, and rebirths. And with these words, I come to the most recent ending. My story will go on, and my myth will grow with each telling. It is the telling of the tale that reveals the pattern of our being together as we swim through the earth and fall from the sky.
Go.